my granddaughter made this horse, and she now has an Etsy and is making horse heads or anything else you want to put in someone's bed. Okay, this is about a horse, in case you had to guess. Thus can my love excuse the slow offense of my dull bearer, when from thee I speed. From where thou art, why should I haste me thence? From where thou art, why should I haste me thence? Till I return, of posting is no need. Oh, what excuse will my poor beast then find, when swift extremity can seem but slow? Then should I spur, though mounted on the wind. In winged speed, no motion shall I know. Then can no horse with my desire keep pace. Therefore desire, of perfect love being made, shall nay no full flesh in his fiery race. But love, for love, shall thus excuse my jade, since from thee going, he went willful slow. Toward thee I'll run, and let him leave to go.
Hi, I'm Deborah Hooker. I'm reading Sonnet 52. You have to know that the conventional interpretation of this sonnet is that the speaker is putting or trying to put a very good spin on the fact that he does not get to see his beloved very often. I, however, think there's a lot more going on, and it's a lot less innocent than that. So, Professor Hunt, I apologize to you and all Shakespearean scholars for what I'm about to do. So am I as the rich, whose blessed key can bring him to his sweet uplocked treasure, the which he will not every hour survey, for blunting the fine point of seldom pleasure. Therefore our feast, so solemn and so rare, as seldom coming in the long year set, like stones of worth, they thinly placed are, or Captain Jewels in a carcanet. So is the time that keeps you as my chest, or as the wardrobe, which the robe doth hide, to make some special instant, special blessed, by new unfolding his imprisoned pride. Blessed are you, whose worthiness gives scope, being had, to triumph, being lacked, to hope.
Hi, my name is Tim Rand, and I'm going to do Sonnet 53. What is your substance? Whereof are you made, that millions of strange shadows on you tend? Since everyone hath, every one shade, and you but one can every shadow lend. Describe Adonis, and the counterfeit is poorly imitated after you. On Helen's cheek, all art of beauty set, and you in Grecian tires are painted new. Speak of the spring and foison of the year. The one doth shadow of your beauty show, the other as your bounty doth appear. and you in every blessed shape we know. In all external grace you have some part, but you like none you for constant heart.
Hi, my name's Ken Walsh, and I was going through the sonnets. I appreciate being able to read them each year, but I picked this one because it doesn't have to do with the visuals so much. It deals with a different sense. And because I deal with the kids at the School for the Blind as a volunteer, I find that this is more appropriate in some ways. Sonnet 54. Oh, how much more doth beauty esteem by that sweet ornament with which truth doth give. The rose looks fair, but fairer we it deem, for that sweet odor for which it doth in it live. The canker blooms have as full a deep a dye as the perfumed tincture of the roses. Hang on such thorns and play as wantonly when summer's breath their masked buds discloses. But for their virtue only as their show, they live unwooed and unrespected fade. Die to themselves, sweet roses, do not so. Of their sweet deaths are sweetest odors made. And so of you, beauteous and lovely youth, when that shall fade, by verse distill your truth. Happy birthday, Will, and happy birthday, Emily.
Hello, my name is Andrea Mensch, and I am shamelessly going to plug World Peace. This is a somewhat of a shift from levity to being a little bit more serious. And it was sparked by my realization that a lot of these earlier poems use the word thou, which is singular, but you know, the more polite form of that would be you as well as the plural. And in this poem, what I was thinking is, let's not think of it, the you, as the adored youth, but let's think of the you as everyone, or perhaps all of humanity. We are living in dark times, and I think we need some inspiration. And what Shakespeare is saying here is that he's promising us, in a sense, immortality through art. Or poetry in this case, and maybe that's why we keep doing this. So here is sonnet number 55. Not marble, nor the gilded monument of princes shall outlive this powerful rhyme, but you shall shine more bright in these contents than unswept stone besmeared with sluttish time. When wasteful war shall statues overturn, and broils root out the work of masonry, nor mars his sword, nor war's quick fire shall burn the living record of your memory. 'Gainst death and all oblivious enmity shall you pace forth, your praise shall find room even in the eyes of all posterity, that wear this world out to the ending doom. So, till the judgment that yourself arise, you live in this and dwell in lovers' eyes. I'm now going to read it as a veteran of the sonnet readings. It was my habit to read a German version of this as well. Das Bild aus Marmor und aus Gold zerbricht. Viel länger als ein Denkmal lebt mein Reim. Lässt euch hell erstrahlen im Gedicht. Die Zeit beschmiert euch nicht mit Schmutz und Schleim. Im Krieg bleibt keine Statue unversehrt. und Streit zerstört so manches schöne Haus. Doch keine Fackel und kein schnelles Schwert löscht dieses Zeugnis eures Lebens aus. Dem Tod und dem Vergessen könnt ihr kühn entgegentreten. Euer Ruhm auf Erden wird selbst noch in den Augen jener glühen, die diese Welt zu Ende leben werden. Bis ihr einst auferstehen müsst zum Gericht, lebt ihr hier drin in eurer liebsten Sicht.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ajani, and I will be reading Sonnet 56. No shameless plugs, but I will say I lived in Germany as a kid for 5 years, and that was great. Took me back to my childhood. But I will just be reading this one in English. Sonnet 56. Sweet love, renew thy force, be it not said. Thy edge should blunter be than appetite, which but today by feeding is allayed, tomorrow sharpened in his former might. So, love, be thou, although today thou fill thy hungry eyes, even till they wink with fullness. Tomorrow, see again. And do not kill the spirit of love with a perpetual dullness. Let this sad interim like the ocean be, which parts the shore, where two contracted new come daily to the banks, that when they see return of love, more blessed may be the view. Or call it winter, which being full of care, makes summer's welcome, thrice more wished, more rare. Thank you.
Hello, my name is John, and Kurt chose Sonnet 57 for me to read. Last year, my old friend reminded me that there's only 14 lines in a sonnet, so I'll be brief. Being your slave, what should I do but tend upon the hours and times of your desire? I have no precious time at all to spend, nor services to do till you require. Nor dare I chide the world without end hour, whilst I myself watch the clock for you. Nor think the bitterness of absence sour, when you have bid your servant one adieu. Nor dare I question with my jealous thought where you may be or your affairs suppose, but like a sad slave stay and think of naught, say where you are, how happy you make those. So true a fool is love, that in your will, though you do anything, he thinks no ill.
Try and find it right.
All right.
Yeah, or is this okay? You're staying center. That's this way. Now you're gonna let it. Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Seema Kukreja. I've had the privilege of reading sonnets for the last 8 years, thanks to Kurt. This is my 9th year, along with my family. My daughter and my husband were busy filming me right now. I'll be reading the sonnet number 58 in English, of course, dedicating it to my dad, who was a poet and a teacher in English who first introduced me to the world of Shakespeare. And that's my tribute to him, followed by my translation of the same sonnet in Hindi, dedicating it to my mom, who taught me Hindi and how to enunciate the words from Shakespeare seamlessly. And before I start, a little bit of trivia, without taking time on the shameless plugs, which I'll be mailing to Kurt. Why did Shakespeare write with a quill? Anybody? Because pencils feared him. He was afraid of the pencils. To be or not to be? That was a lame one. Okay. That God forbid, that made me first your slave. I should in thought control your times of pleasure, or at your hand the account of hours to crave. Being your vassal, bound to stay your leisure. Oh, let me suffer, being at your back, the imprisoned absence of your liberty and patience, tamed to sufferance, bide each check without accusing you of injury. Beware you list, your charter is so strong that you yourself may privilege your time. To what you will, to you it doth belong. Yourself to pardon of self-doing crime. I am to wait, though waiting so be hell, not blame your pleasure, be it ill or well. And Mom, Dad, this is for you. I'll be doing some mudras, which are hand gestures that are popularly used in Indian classical dances. ईश्वर ना करे जिसने सबसे पहले मुझे अपना गुलाम बनाया कि आप जो समय के साथ करते हैं मैं उसे नियंत्रित करने की कोशिश में बार-बार सोचूं या ये मांग करूं कि आप मुझे उसका हिसाब दें। आपका गुलाम होने के नाते मैं आपके अवकाश में शामिल हूं और उसके लिए बाध्य हूं। ओह, आपके आदेश और आपके आवेहन पर मुझे बाहर जाने और अपनी इच्छा अनुसार कार्य करने की स्वतंत्रता की धैर्यपूर्वक सहन करने दीजिए। ये आपकी स्वतंत्रता की कैद की अनुपस्थिति और आप पर मुझे चोट पहुंचाने का आरोप लगाए बिना मुझे हर निराशा को सहने और धैर्य विकसित करने दीजिए। आप जहाँ चाहें आपका अनुज्ञा पत्र इतना मजबूत हो कि जिससे आप चाहते हैं आप स्वयं उसका उपयोग करने में सक्षम हो और उसका लाभ उठा सकें। वो आपका ही है। आप जो भी करते हैं उसके अनुसार आपके लिए उपयुक्त हो सकते हैं। आपके द्वारा किसी भी अपराध के लिए आपको स्वयं को क्षमा करने का अधिकार है। मुझे इंतज़ार करना होगा, भले ही इंतज़ार कितना नर्क है, और अपनी खुशी का पालन करने के लिए अपनी दोषी नहीं ठहराता, चाहे वे कुछ भी हो, अच्छा या बुरा।
Hello, I'm David Marschall, and I'm proudly wearing my Stratford, Ontario Festival t-shirt that I went to last summer, finally. It's great. All right. Sonnet 59 starts by considering whether the proverb from Ecclesiastes that there is no new thing under the sun is true. He then imagines testing this by sending his beautiful beloved 500 years back in time for his beauty to be described in an antique book. If there be nothing new, but that which is hath been before, how are our brains beguiled, which, laboring for invention, bear amiss the second burden of a former child? Oh, that record could with a backward look, even of 500 courses of the sun, show me your image in some antique book, since mine at first in character was done, that I might see what the old world could say to this composite wonder of your frame, whether we are mended, or whether better they, or whether revolution be the same. Oh, sure I am the wits of former days, to subjects worse have given admiring praise.
Hi y'all, I'm Alex, I'm Marvin's daughter, and I found out I was doing this about 15 minutes ago. So you'd think growing up with a Shakespearean this would be a piece of cake, but I've definitely never read this sonnet, so here we go. This is Sonnet 60. Like as the waves make toward the pebble shore, so do our minutes hasten to their end, each changing place with that which goes before, in sequent toil all forwards do contend. Nativity, once in the main of light, crawls to maturity, wherewith being crowned, crooked eclipses 'gainst his glory fight, and time that gave doth now his gift confound. Time doth transfix the flourish set on youth, and delves the parallels in beauty's brow, feeds on the rarities of nature's truth, and nothing stands but for his scythe to mow. And yet, to times and hope, my verse shall stand, praising thy worth despite his cruel hand.
Hi, everybody. I'm Liz Howard. This is my first year doing this. I'm really excited to be here. This is Sonnet 61. Is it thy will thy image should keep open my heavy eyelids to the weary night? Dost thou desire my slumbers should be broken, while shadows like to thee do mock my sight? Is it thy spirit that thou send'st from thee so far from home into my deeds to pry, to find out shames and idle hours in me, the scope and tenor of thy jealousy? Oh, no. Thy love, though much, is not so great. It is my love that keeps mine eye awake, mine own true love that doth my rest defeat, to play the watchman ever for thy sake. For thee watch I, whilst thou dost wake elsewhere, from me far off, with others all too near.
Hi, I'm Talley. I'm Kurt's daughter, and I brought the fairest creatures. To go sort of opposite what this sonnet expresses, these girls are put together where I am not. Sonnet 62. Sin of self-love possesseth all mine eye, and all my soul, and all my every part. And for this sin there is no remedy. It is so grounded inward in my heart. Methinks no face so gracious is as mine, no shape so true, no truth of such account. And for myself mine own worth do define. As I all other in all worths surmount, but when my glass shows me myself indeed, beaded and chalked with tanned antiquity, mine own self-love, quite contrary I read. Self so self-loving were iniquity. 'Tis thee, myself, that for myself I praise, painting my age with beauty of thy days.
Hi, I'm Carragan, and I will be reading Sonnet 63. Against my love shall be as I am now, with time's injurious hand crushed and odor worn. When hours have drained his blood and filled his brow with lines and wrinkles, when his youthful morn has traveled onto age's steepy night, and all of those beauties were far off. Now he's king, or vanishing, or vanished out of sight, stealing away the treasure of his spring. For such time, adieu. For such time, adieu. For such a time, do I now fortify against confounding age's cruel knife, that he shall never cut from memory my sweet love's beauty, though my lover's life. His beauty shall be in these black lines be seen, and they shall live, and he in them still green.
name is Hector Fernandez. I'll be reading Sonnet 64, and this continues with the Fair Youth poems. Basically, the older writer, sort of seeing that time takes away all things, realizes that his love will one day be lost. When I have seen, by time's fell hand defaced, the rich, proud cost of outworn buried age, when sometimes lofty towers I see down raised, and brass eternal slave to mortal rage, when I have seen the hungry ocean gain advantage of the kingdom of the shore, and the firm soil win of the watery main, increasing store with loss and loss with store, when I have seen such interchange of state, or state itself confounded to decay, ruin has taught me thus to ruminate. The time will come and take my love away. This thought is a death which cannot choose, but weep to have that which it fears to lose.
Hi, everyone. I'm Don Hobart. I will confess that I probably haven't read more than 5 Shakespearean sonnets in my entire life, but I was at the fantastic performance of Little Night Music a week ago and saw the opportunity and reached out to Kurt and got put on as a standby, which means I've had my poem for an hour. But this is Sonnet 65, and it is one of the sonnets in which the poet meditates on the power of poetry and love to ultimately defy time. So it's sort of a counterpoint to the concerns of Sonnet 64. Since brass, nor stone, nor earth, nor boundless sea, but sad mortality o'ersways their power, how with this rage shall beauty hold a plea, whose action is no stronger than a flower? Oh, how shall sunny summer's honey breath hold out against the wreckful siege of battering days, when rocks impregnable are not so stout, nor gates of steel so strong, but time decays. Oh, fearful meditation, where alack shall time's best jewel from time's chest lie hid? Or what strong hand can hold his swift foot back? Or who his spoil of beauty can forbid? Oh, none, unless this miracle have might, that in black ink my love may still shine bright.
I'm Kelly Buynitzky, and I'm doing 66. Sonnet 66 is pretty much the poet railing against the system. It sits between 64 and 65, and then 67 and 68. But, well, I'll just let it speak for itself. Tired with all these, for restful death I cry, as to behold desert a beggar born, and needing nothing trimmed in jollity and purest, faith unhappily forsworn, and gilded honor shamefully misplaced, and maiden virtue rudely strumpeted, and the right perfection wrongfully disgraced, and the strength by limping sway disabled, and art made tongue-tied by authority and folly, doctor-like controlling skill, and simple truth miscalled simplicity, and captive good attending captain ill? Tired with all these. From these would I be gone, save that to die I leave my love alone.
Good evening. My name is Ted Feitshans, and I've been doing this for a number of years. This is Sonnet 67, which is Shakespeare's complaint against artifice and corruption, which ends with an appeal to the good old days. There were not many good days in the 16th and 17th century. I've always thought that part of the testament to Shakespeare's skill as a writer and playwright, the prominent one in that, is that he managed to die a natural death. That was uncommon for prominent people in England at the time. Wherefore with infection should he live, and with his presence grace impiety, that sin by him advantage should achieve and lace itself with his society. Why should false painting imitate his cheek, and steal dead seeming of his living hue? Why should poor beauty indirectly seek roses of shadow, since his rose is true? Why should he live, now nature bankrupt is, beggared of blood to blush through lively veins? For she has no exchequer now but this, and proud of many, lives upon his gains. O him she stores to show what wealth she had in days long since, before these last so bad.
Hello, my name is Janis Epton, and yes, I've read here before. It's been a few years. I read a little bit online, I think. So anyway, here I am. This poem has to do with his loss of somebody that was important. So it's a little bit on the dark side. Okay. Thus is his cheek, the mask of days outworn, when beauty lived and died as flowers do now, before those bastard signs of fair were born, or durst inhabit on a living brow, before the goddess golden tresses of the dead, the right of sepulchres were shorn away, to live a second life on a second head. Ere beauty's dead fleet made another gay, and him whose holy antique hours were seen, without all ornament, itself and true, making no summer of another's green, robbing no old to dress his beauties new. As for his, a map doth nature's store, to show false art, or what beauty was of yore.
Hello, my name is Bobby Kaufman, and this is 69, the sonnet. I couldn't resist. Those parts of thee that the world's eye doth view want nothing that the thought of hearts can mend. All tongues, the voice of souls, give thee that due, uttering bare truth, even so as foes commend. Thy outward thus with outward praise is crowned, but those same tongues that give thee so thine own, in other accents do this praise confound. By seeing farther than the eye hath shown, they look into the beauty of thy mind, and that, in guess, they measure by thy deeds. Then churls their thoughts, although their eyes were kind, to thy fair flower add the rank smell of weeds. But why thy odor matcheth not thy show? The soil is this, that thou dost common grow.
Seema, I have to see who you are. My name is Kershaw. I'm 78 years old, but I'm not dead yet. My sonnet tonight is by William Shakespeare. Who can tell me when William Shakespeare was born?
1564.
When was he born?
1564.
1864?
1564.
1564. And when did he die?
1616.
1616? He was a young man. How old was he when he died?
52.
52. And I'm 78. He wrote how many sonnets?
154.
So that would be, you divide that into 52, and how many would that be a year? About three a year? That's pretty good. That is if he started writing young. When did he start writing sonnets? When did Shakespeare start writing sonnets? I do not know. I raised the question. But if he started at 3 years old, he must have been a very, very, very gifted child. He must have known how to spell and to handwrite and to write in Old English before computers were made. My sonnet for you tonight was, we're almost at night, is Sonnet 70. That thou art blamed shall not be thy defect, for slander's mark was ever yet the fair. The ornament of beauty was suspect, a crow that flies in heaven's sweetest air. So thou be good. Slander doth but approve thy worth, the greater being wooed of time. For canker vice, the sweetest buds doth love, and thou presentest a pure, unstained prime. Thou hast passed by the ambush of young days, either not assailed or victor being charged. Yet this thy praise cannot be so, thy praise, to tie up envy, evermore enlarged. If some suspect of ill mask did not thy show, then thou alone kingdoms of hearts should stow. The sonnet I've just read to you was a sonnet he wrote to a young man that he was interested in. At that time, homosexuality was politely accepted, politely. At times in culture, it is not accepted. In times in culture, it is equal to being a lesbian, to being heterosexual, to being a man, to being a woman. There are some interesting styles to this piece of poetry that I read to you, and that's what I just shared with you. I'm grateful that you came tonight, and we still have more to come. Thank you for all being here.
Hello everyone, my name is Marquan Martin and I'll be reading Sonnet 71. No longer mourn for me when I am dead, then you shall hear the surely sullen bell. Give warning to the world that I am fled from this vile world with vilest worms to dwell. Nay, if you read this line, remember not the hand that wrote it, for I love you so that I and your sweet thoughts would be forgot, if thinking on me then should make you woe. Oh, if, I say, you look upon this verse, when I perhaps compounded am with clay, do not so much as my poor name rehearse, but let your love even with my life decay, lest the wise world should look upon your moan and mock you with me after I am gone.
Good afternoon, everyone.
My name is Aditya Sharma, and I'm a professor in the Computer Information Systems area. So the running joke earlier used to be that I write, interpreted in binary. So is the world out there objectively seen, or is it subjectively perceived? Do we see the things as they are, or do we see things as we are? So much so that sometimes we try to fit the perception what other people might have of ourselves, right? And then we are worried whether we are fitting that good perception that we want them to have. In this case, continuing, the sonnet chose me, by the way, in this case. Continuing from the previous sonnet, where the poet talks about his death, he's worried about how his love and the love of his lover will be perceived after he's gone. And so he's advising his lover not to show it or express it after he's dead, so that people might not mock at it or make fun of it and bring shame upon themselves as well as the poet. Because the poet thinks they are not worthy of it, and if the lover has to praise the deceased, she will have to make up, or he or she will have to make up stories about it, and which he doesn't want to happen. So that's the setup. So sonnet number 72. Oh, lest the world should task you to recite what merit lived in me that you should love. After my death, dear love, forget me quite, for you in me can nothing worthy prove, unless you would devise some virtuous lie, to do more for me than mine own desert, and hang more praise upon deceased, I than niggard's truth would willingly impart. O lest your true love may seem false in this, that you for love speak well of me untrue. My name be buried where my body is, and live no more to shame nor me nor you. For I am ashamed by that which I bring forth, and so should you, to love things nothing worth, even though love is perhaps the only thing that we can take with us and still leave behind. Thank you.
That's an incorrect skull, by the way. Yorick has no jaw. Okay, this is Sonnet 73. It's one of Shakespeare's most beloved and most often written about and talked about. It's a very special poem, and I'll try to suggest at the end some reasons why. So it begins, that time of year thou mayest in me behold, when yellow leaves or none, or few do hang upon those boughs that shake against the cold, bare, ruined choirs where late the sweet birds sang. In me thou seest the twilight of such day as after sunset fadeth in the west, which by and by a black night doth take away, death's second self that seals up all in rest. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire that on the ashes of his youth doth lie, as the deathbed whereon it must expire, consumed with that which it was nourished by. This thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong, to love that well, which thou must leave ere long. A couple of things about this particular sonnet. Most people know that Shakespeare wrote the English sonnet form, which is 3 quatrains and a couplet, A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, and my favorite, because she has France, G, G. And Shakespeare really sticks to the English form quite regularly. I think when you read the whole body of work, you really see how faithful he is to that form. So, you know, that time of year thou mayest in me behold, that's a 10-syllable 5-beat line, iambic pentameter, perfect English sonnet form. when yellow leaves are none or few. Now, why does he do that? Why does he say yellow leaves or none? Why does he say yellow leaves or few or none? That would be the normal declension. You would have yellow leaves, few leaves, no leaves. Shakespeare writes yellow leaves or none or few. Is there a metrical reason to do that? No. Why did he do it? Because he said, damn, I'm good. You know, I can do this because I can do it. You know what I mean? But then the line 4, which is very, very powerful. Bare, ruined choirs where late the sweet birds sang. That is not iambic pentameter. Okay? That is not the English sonnet form. Bare, ruined choirs where late the sweet birds sang. It's completely unprecedented. And then if you look at line 8, you see its mirror. Death's second self that seals up all in rest. And the wonderful use of the S's. Death's second self that seals up all in rest. And it's almost like sleeping, like lying beside someone and hearing him or her breathe. Death's second self that seals up all in rest. And then finally, we should note that this thou proceeds, which makes thy love more strong, to love that well, which thou must leave ere long, is an admonition to us. Because we are going to lose everything we have, we must love those things more deeply. We must cherish them every hour, every day. You know, I used to tell my students, I said, if you really feel this poem, you will go home and call your grandmother. And you will say, I just called to say I love you. I just called to say how much I care. So, I mean, the serious point is we got to love things that we're going to lose. But then Ben Jonson lost a son at the age of 7, whose name was Benjamin, which in Hebrew means child of my right hand. And he could not get over it, loss of that child. And he says, oh, that I could lose all father now. If I could stop being a father, stop feeling about this. And he says, I will never love again that which I like too much. And he stands back from death and says, I'm not going to get. You can imagine how common childhood death was in Shakespeare's day. And what do? You love this thing or you just leave it alone? Those are 2 different ways to respond to inevitable loss. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Melanie Simmons. I have a vested interest in remaining succinct in the home stretch here since I am in the show that is going up tonight. And call time is rapidly approaching. But I'm going to read Sonnet 74, and because I also lived in Germany for a few years as a child, I will be reading it in German as well. And the theme of this is just mortality and the legacy he leaves behind with his love. But be contented when that fell arrest without all veil shall carry me away. My life hath in this line some interest, which for memorial still with thee shall stay. When thou reviewest this, thou dost review the very part that was consecrate to thee. The earth can have but earth, which is his due. My spirit is thine, the better part of me. So then thou hast but lost the dregs of life, the prey of worms, my body being dead, the coward conquest of a wretch's knife, too base of thee to be remembered. The worth of that is that which it contains, and that is this, and this with thee remains. Und dann auf Deutsch, Sonett 74. Bleibe ruhig, wenn der Tod mich arretiert und abführt nicht Kauschen gewährt von hier. Mein Leben ist ein Zeilen investiert, die bleiben zur Erinnerung bei dir. Du liest wir weiter, was ich dir gewährte. Den Teil, der dir geweiht, ist ganz allein. Es muss so sein, nur Erde kommt zur Erde. Mein Geist jedoch, der bessere Teil, bleibt dein. Der Abschaum dieses Lebens geht verloren, mein toter Körper, der die Würmer nährt. Vom feigen Samen auserkoren ein Nichts, das Erinnerung nicht wert. Der Wert der Zeilen ist, was sie enthalten, und das wär dies, das der Fürst du jetzt behalten.
Hello, everyone who is undoubtedly older than me by a lot. So I'm gonna be 12 in like 4 months, and this is actually like my 5th or 6th year doing sonnets. And I'm actually gonna be singing my sonnet because when I grow up, I would love to be a singer, songwriter, dancer, writer, chemist, and petrologist. If you don't know what petrology is, Google it. And so, yeah, I guess. So I'm going to be singing Sonnet 75. And I can't believe I forgot the most important thing, but my name is Aditya Sharma. Okay. So are you to my thoughts as food is to life, or as sweet seas and showers are to the ground. And for the peace of you I hold such strife as twinkst a miser and his wealth is found. Now proud as an enjoyer and anon, doubting the filching age will steal his treasure, now counting best to be with you alone. Then bettered that the world may see my pleasure, sometime I'll full with feasting on your sight, and by and clean start for a look, possessing or pursuing no delight, save what is had or must from you be took. Thus do I pine and surfeit day by day, or gluttoning on all, or all away. Thank you, and I do not have a shameless plug, but the only thing that's going to happen in my life is on Monday I'm going to go back to school.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully you can see me on stage in like 10 years.
Hello, my name is Walter-Carney. I'll be reading Sonnet 76. By way of introduction and interpretation, this is dedicated to my wife, who knows all my moves and has heard all my stories about 1,000 times. Why is my verse so barren of new pride, so far from variation or quick change? Why, with the time, do I not glance aside to newfound methods and to compounds strange? Why write I still all one, ever the same, and keep invention in a noted weed, that every word doth almost tell my name, showing their birth and where they did proceed? Oh no, sweet love, I always write of you, and you and love are still my argument. So all my best is dressing old words new, spending again what is already spent. For as the sun is daily new and old, so my love, still telling what is told.
Walter-Carney. I did not know he was going to do that. Sonnet 77 is written as the sort of note you'd write in the interior of a journal that you're giving to someone as a gift, and I'm taking a few liberties. Thy glass will show thee how thy beauties wear, thy dial, how thy precious minutes waste. The vacant leaves thy mind's imprint will bear, and of this book, this learning mayst thou taste. The wrinkles which thy glass will truly show, of mouthed graves will give thee memory. Thou by thy dial's shady stealth mayst know time's thievish progress to eternity. Look, what thy memory cannot contain, commit to these waste blanks, and thou shalt find those children nursed, delivered from thy brain to take new acquaintance of thy mind. These offices, so oft as thou wilt look, shall profit thee and most enrich thy book.